Welcome, friend. Welcome to Morrowind.
Welcome, friends. Welcome back to Vardenfell. And specifically to some peculiar corner of Oblivion, where we're hunting for the Skeleton King, if I remember correctly. Don't know if it says in the journal, it probably does. The Skeleton King. Hopefully he's up this hallway. I mean, probably not immediately up this hallway, but at least in this direction. Yeah, I'm going to have to ask you to come down a little bit. Hey, Lichy. Glass mace. Nice. Nice. Profitable. I like glass weaponry in the Elder Scrolls. I like the look of it. The idea that glass is a mineral that you mine rather than something you can make out of melted sand is kind of nuts. But I quite like that too, because, you know, hey, it's the Elder Scrolls. Nuts is kind of what it does best, really. Okay, this looks suitably portentous. Fine. Where did you spring from and why? I wonder. Spark Lunger. No. Expensive ring, sure. I know that I occasionally sound vaguely begrudging about picking up loot. And, you know, obviously something for nothing and all that. It's not the loot itself that I sometimes begrudge, it's the amount of time required to go to the quote marks effort of actually picking it up. Worldstone Chamber. I mean, that sounds portentous. But many things have done so far. I've got a good naming scheme, whatever else is going on. The Worldstone. I'm pretty sure that's what we're supposed to destroy after we've killed Bale, isn't it? In Diablo 2. I mean, I'm definitely down with the idea of a sort of Diablo 2 / Oblivion mashup for Morrowind. I find that quite amusing. And I did quite like the sort of Deckard Cain bloke a while ago. That's a little sad, isn't it? I used to have quite a thing for throwing stars. I mean, I think most children of the 80s went through a throwing stars kind of phase. At least, you know, they were quite common amongst my friends and I. And one of you. A rapid attack numpty. They are pretty useless, really, as a weapon. Even historically, as I understand, main thing was as a distraction and or a way to hopefully get a bit of poison into someone's bloodstream. But they're quite cool to look at, and you know, they feel quite nice to, not throw around, because, once you've thrown it you can't feel anything, but, heft around. That sort of thing. Dear me, very sad. My weapons gathering days are, over in the name of sanity, really. To actually get anything worth having, you have to spend a lot of money, and, I'm not ever going to be in a situation where having a weapon is more useful to me than, like, having a kitchen knife or a pair of running shoes or something. I can't fight. I'm horribly uncoordinated. So even if the worst came to the worst and, zombie apocalypse and stuff, I'd just frankly be more at danger of lopping my own arms off as anything else. And, that's really going to show them, isn't it? Like that whole shoe bomber thing. I'm going to blow my feet off at you! Ah! So, yeah. And, sure, they can look pretty cool, and if I had the appropriate decor set up for, keeping lots of weapons on display, then maybe I'd think about it, but I just don't really. One of the things about living in rented accommodation for your entire life, the whole decor thing isn't really, back where we came, yes, isn't really much of a thing. So we've done a full sweep. At least you have to keep carting it around. The more stuff you have when you're renting, the more inconvenient it is. It's an unfortunate bottom line. So let's see what these side chunks are, other than places holding one crippled skeleton which has run out. And there's a lot of soul gems. Grateful for that. Ooh, soul gem with an actual inhabitant. That's handy. Typically speaking, in Morrowind, the helmet is the advised way of filling your grand soul gems is to summon a golden saint, cast soul trap on it, and kill it. There are other things as well that have maximum soul value, but not super many of them, and you get quite a lot of different ways over the course of the game to summon golden saints, including scrolls. It seems a little, annoying to a Daedra to just drag it into Nirn and then painfully send it back home again. But then again, they hate being here for any length of time, and killing a Daedra on Nirn has no effect on it whatsoever. It just goes back home and, sulks for a bit before it's allowed back in again. But they don't really want to be here in the first place. So, there is a foul wind at your back. Death awaits at the top of this summit. Are you prepared to face it, or will you be found wanting? I see. That's the Skeleton King. Well, in a minute then. So anything you can find that's pre-filled to a decent amount of lich, I don't think is a full... Jennifer with Shatter the Crystal. Okay. I'm assuming you're thinking of something specific when you say a weapon that can generate enough force. Something like a Roderick Malice, for example. maybe one of these other things has it, or maybe I get it after I kill the king. Although it might also be protecting the king from anything vaguely resembling harm. Anything vaguely resembling harm. I'm just a poor little orphan. One who's lost his mind, apparently. Or maybe I'm supposed to go and find the correct weapon somewhere else. I hope that's not the case. There's a lot of territory we probably haven't covered in this mod in total. I mean, it's not going to be some otherwise unnamed thing. That would be extremely unreasonable puzzle design. Back in a boxy. Yes. Well, let's check this fourth side. Oh, that's just what came in. Okay, so no obvious smashy weapon lurking around. I should make sure that I've had a couple of days rest to maximize charges on weaponry and other bits and pieces. Make sure my once a day powers are up, that sort of thing. Because I assume this is going to be an annoying sort of fight. Let's see. What can I do? Don't need that. Definitely going to want that. Tomorrow light, enchantment spell. Maybe for just 10 seconds, that's no use. I guess that we probably try going in first with with Adrenaline Rush. Then see what happens. Then we can come back and... See, I've got a couple of Summon Golden Saint Scrolls already. I did want one of the scrolls of health stuff, whatever it's called. Argent Glow. Just a sort of bit of passive reanimation. And Adrenaline Rush. Right. Have at thee. That's the thing to smash the boiled stone with, I see. Okay. summoning a lot of stuff. So, yes. And we can't do anything immediately. But anyway, we can have some extra damage going on. I mean, maybe. That might help, but he might have unlimited mana as well. Or his triggers might all be non-spell based. I could put up a whole bunch of barriers. But yeah, I think this is going to be annoying. Still. Second way around too.
It begins in blood. It ends in bone fall.
No, there's loads of stuff arriving again. And maybe the trick is to run around away from... He's not taking damage at this point either. So that's annoying. Maybe we have to get down all of these ads. Yes, that's quite possible. So, let's try that then. We run around here, so we're a bit less in the line of fire of everything.
It begins in blood. It ends in bone fall.
I've always disliked boss fights. Because they're basically pointless. They go to all the effort of teaching you how to play the game, and then invalidate everything you know. Not a big fan. You've healed a lot too. Yes, great. So this will be fun then. Particularly for my hands. You know, I might actually just circumvent this with some wild cheating, which I know is kind of anticlimactic, but this is actually physically painful trying to do this. And it's not really in the spirit of Morrowind either. Yes, yes, curse me. Let's grab some potions. it up yourself. Ouch. I'd like to pretend that I was glad that I didn't cheat that, but actually, I'm not really. Skeleton King's Mace. Very heavy. Armor scraps. Why do I want that? Well, maybe I'm not supposed to want it. Okay. Well, let's go beat up the Worldstone then. Oh, come on, really? This appears to be up as close to the center as I can get. Am I supposed to do a heavy swing? Nope. Not even a donk. Okay. Okay. Well, I definitely expected that to work, not gonna lie. They can't be expecting me to enchant this thing because there's no enchanter in here. You can't do it yourself. You have to use an enchanter in Morrowind. And, you know, an actual specific person. You give them the bits and the money and it uses your skill, but they're the one that does the work. I didn't see anything else either that would have made this, you know, something empower this in here or anything like that. Well, I'm bouncier than I should be. So maybe it's a hint that what I should be doing is trying to bounce my way up the Worldstone or something. Not completely completely impossible. I'll try to make sure I don't actually kill myself by jumping. It is good experience. Let's put on a dagger of flying for a moment. Is that any obvious heart? No. I mean, okay, that's a weird and trippy effect, but it's getting me anywhere. Nope. Oh, I can't cast spells. I see. Do I have a potion of floating? I should have a potion of levitation of some sort, yes. You have to be standing on proper ground. Well, not proper ground, but you have to be... At least the game needs to consider you standing before you can cast magic. So I can almost certainly do it here. Cast spells, that is. I'm not seeing anything obvious. Or anything subtle. Don't know if it was subtle, would I be seeing it? Depends how subtle it is. But as I've said a couple of times before, while wandering around this place, I'm not actually up for really obtuse hunt the small thing in a huge stack of different locations thing. So not after the Astrologians Guild. And also, I tend to think it doesn't make particularly interesting stuff to watch because, you know, I don't even really get to save very much. You just get to hear me mutter as I stomp backwards and forwards looking for an exit. So... I guess thanks, but no thanks. Maybe I'll come back to it at some point. I can get some hints about what's going on. Oh, I really wish I'd cheated and just killed the bloke using the console. Still. I didn't, and good for me. Even if my hand does hurt. Boo-hoo. I guess we could... No, that doesn't make any sense. Not after that hint. Yes. Okay, let me just stop muttering to myself and let's clear this popsicle stand. We can spare a mark, I think. When we do want to come back. If we want to come back. recall. Let's go back to Caldera. And just double check that the NPCs involved in this thing don't have some little hint they can give us. And then go and see if we can look into what's going on with the innkeeper's wife.
Your turn to talk, ours to listen.
Hello. No, I don't go into the fighters.
What?
Oh, I probably should find some healing, shouldn't I? Yeah, fine. Yeah, no, not that. One of the downsides of doing your own healing potions is that your alchemy skill keeps changing, so they don't really stack.
Teleportation is the only civilized way to travel.
I agree, but have you heard of mark and recall spells? Not that I want to talk, I haven't got a recall point in Caldera except for...
Teleportation is the only civilized way to travel.
You know, I could have sworn someone else said that. Maybe it's true.
Please, go ahead, Outlander. I'm listening.
To what do I owe this?
Walk with virtue.
I'm very grateful that you all like me all of a sudden, but, you know, at the same time... Oh no, this isn't the pub. Yes, I'm not in my uniform, very naughty. Ugh. Bard surprise again.
What do you need?
I need to poke around. Reshagir. What's your background? Reshagir follows the trade of acrobat. Oh, you're a thief. Good man. But it's probably just a room you're either casing or renting. That's not what I want. I think I'm looking for Shank's private quarters. Or some other evidence spot where he might have information about having done his wife in. That. Oh, chunk of meat. Got pass. Elegant, sure. Ombury, always useful. Well, sometimes useful. Rat meat, rarely useful. Locked chest, might have, you know, 4 gold pieces in it or something. Can't pass that up, can we? Probes, lockpick. Oh well. 25 gold. Fine. Very nice. This, I suppose, is the room you get to rent. They're often locked at about the 50-point level. Unlockable, huh? You know what I mean. Unlockable.
Greetings, madam. Can I do something for you?
You're not
I
carrying
will
anything.
not be taken for a fool.
I don't agree with you there, Shank. I'm not going to beat you to death with a lockpick. Let's just load. That is, after all, why we quick save. So, no key on Shank.
Greetings, madam. Can I do something for you?
Yeah, you can keep quiet. Little poke around.
Good ships along Leo and Quay await the morning tide. In ale as well we took on ore.
Checking the merchandise, Shank, old bean.
Timber we shipped in Bravo Port, then sailed for Blackwood Head. 1, 2, 1, 2, cast far, cast true. Hey, leadsman, call your mark. Shoal water lurks in foggy murk across the Nieben bar. In Torval we bought sugar cane, in South Point furs and dye. Then sold it all at Daggerfall, drank in Strosmurk High. The Gold Coast has silver.
I think I'm just going to end up stealing that if I try to look at it.
In Leowin town, my sweetheart pines to see her sailing.
Is this the basement? Yeah, it's locked. Okay.
Speak freely, friend.
Do you know anything about Shank? Little. It's a sorry tale, a tale of violence and greed. Shank had an older brother, you see. His brother was the parents' favourite, the golden boy. He grew up living in his brother's shadow and under his brother's tyrannical thumb. When the parents died, the brother inherited everything and tossed Shank out onto the street. Shank wasn't going to stand for that. He tracked the brother down and murdered him with the very shovel we see hanging on that wall. He used the money to come out here and set up shop. Yeah. That isn't very good, is it? Still, fair enough. I've done worse. Any rumours? House Redoran is really steamed up about the Caldera land grab. They say that Caldera is in their territory and they should have gotten the charter. Worse yet, they say that Thlila was skimming the top off Imperial Fat Cat Company that got the charter. Since it's an Imperial company, Redoran can't even get a house war contract on it. It'll come to violence, you mark my words. Well, it might do. Goodbye. Thank you for your company. Nothing about Shank's wife. You really should just lurk by the door like that, friend. It's most disconcerting. Also, I'm not sure I like your ghost loot. Yes, I'm sure you're devastated. Alright. We may be befriend you enough to get you to talk to us.
Got my ear, let's hear it.
Shank's shovel. It's just my trusty old shovel, that's all. And your wife? Sarah's my wife and I don't want to talk about her. I'm sure. Let's see if we can bribe you into talking. Let's just save that. quite the tale, but excuse me, I see a customer calling. Nothing different about wife. Blah, blah, blah. Latest rumours. There was some orc in town recently running like a madman from the guards. I don't know what it was about, but it was funny to watch. Alanamo. The richest merchant in town. I see. Is this? Oh, I see it's there. You examine the shovel and find what could be dirt. Okay. Inspecting Schenk's actual shovel rather than the tavern itself, I discovered distinct remnants that strongly resembled dirt. On a shovel, nonetheless. Gasp! Do you have anything new to say about anything? Schenk's shovel. The story behind the shovel? I'd be happy to tell a friend like you, but excuse me just a moment, duty calls. Time and thirsty customers wait for no explanations, I'm afraid. Okay, so there's nothing else to find out from him. Should we go and have a look around the back again? We didn't get to take the shovel. Still locked. Well,
I should probably wash up before heading home.
What are you talking about? You're not going off shift and you're in your own house. You live upstairs. Fruit bat. I think that all things considered, it's slightly early, but I'm going to call it here because my hand does hurt after that fight with the Skeleton King, and I'm a little on the tired and achy side to begin with. So I guess let's go and stare at Schenk in an off-putting manner.
I like what I see.
Do you? Murder a lot of wives recently, Schenk? Asking for a friend. So I hope you've enjoyed this. If you happen to know what I'm supposed to do to get that hammer working to destroy the world stone, or if I'm supposed to do something else entirely, or if there's just too many things I skip past by not exploring every scared corner of the Oblivion space, then please do drop me a note to let me know. I'll see if there's any information on the net, but there probably isn't. Most mods don't have anything. I just don't really have it in me to go searching all of those vast spaces top to bottom. Not at the moment anyway. I hope you've had a good week, and I hope that the week to come is pleasant and full of good things, and yeah, let's just leave that at that, because the only way is down, baby, for you and me now, to misquote Yaz on the plastic population. Yeah, so next time we will see if we can continue digging into the mystery of Sarah Schenk and the shovel, and get Schenk to actually confess a bit or something. That'd be nice. Until then, stay safe, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.